If you sell a high ticket info product online, this video is going to break down why some people can never hit 100 grand a month while others hit 100 grand a month with ease and scale well past it. We're going to go over the two key pillars to solving any problem within your business and attracting the right type of people, as well as what questions you should be asking yourself in order to get the best output possible. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Now, the number one key pillar in really solving any business problem from a marketing and sales perspective is your messaging. And this translates again to both your front end marketing material and your ads, your funnels, your content like this, to also the sales process, the framing before the sales process, the setting process, the closing process. The entire front end of your business relies heavily on messaging. So, what is messaging? Messaging is the words that you use to attract the buyer that you want, simply put. For example, this could be the specific call out of the avatar you're looking for, the circumstances around their situation, the specific problems they're dealing with, the specific solutions they've entertained. What is their buying power, and articulating that further in depth. You're essentially, with the right messaging, you're painting a picture and almost planting a seed in the other person's mind to where they say to themselves, wow, this person understands my situation better than I do. I trust this individual. And here's what's cool about messaging. If you nail down messaging so well, I can almost guarantee that you will not have to share client results. Why? Because you can speak to that individual's specific problem. What you'll notice is some of the biggest names in the space, Jeremy Haynes, some of these other high-level marketers, they do not speak about client results publicly at all. Yet at the same time, they attract some of the highest intent buyers that you can think of. Why is this? Because they know the problems of their consumer and they can speak to them at a level that resonates with them, right? If I'm trying to, let's say I'm looking at Haynes, for example, he's a great representation of this. Doesn't share a single client result, yet attracts some of the highest ticket buyers you can think of. He does this by addressing problems that are current in that individual's mind. Oh, my show rates are down. Well, here's a video on show rates. Oh, I'm trying to crack a low ticket to high ticket funnel. Here's a video on that. Oh, I'm trying to scale up aggressively. Here's a video on that, right? It speaks to the messaging. It speaks to the individual that he is trying to attract into his business. And so that is why messaging is so important. Now, the second component to this is understanding the theory of bottlenecks. Bottlenecks are essentially this, quote, the sticking point in your business, right? And this could definitely be worded better, but I decided to pull together this visual to help you understand it. Both of these businesses at the very top experience the same amount of traffic or lead flow, for example. So the same amount of eyeballs hit the website, hit the landing page, hit the ad. What a bottleneck then is let's say again, you're at the same starting point. Where do I get pinched off, or where does the flow of traffic become constrained? The funnel on the left is a healthy and successful business. The funnel on the right is a constrained business, one that is struggling to scale or even be profitable on, let's say, their ad spend. What do you see as the difference? Pretty obvious, right? On this side, you have a ton of throughput through the funnel. And so by shoving the same amount of traffic through the top, you get more buyers. It's a byproduct of that. Whereas the funnel that has a massive constraint, well, you're going to get the same front end traffic, but you're going to get pinched off. Let's think of a scenario here. Let's say I'm running ads and I'm spending $5,000 a day. If I have a 1% click-through rate on the healthy business and a 0.25% click-through rate on the unhealthy business, well, then I can 4x my traffic by just fixing the click-through rate. And I now then 4x the amount of sales calls, 4x the amount of potential closed deals, right? By fixing one metric, I open up the floodgates to then experience more volume downstream. And so that is the concept of bottlenecks. Now, how do these work hand in hand? 9 times out of 10, the reason you experience a bottleneck inside of your business, especially on the front end, comes down largely to the messaging. Now, there are situations where there's something wrong with your tech stack, your text flows. Simple things like the dialer you use or the color of your text messages can change a lot. That's why we recommend people use iPhones or blue text. That's why we recommend people use dialers that actually have high pickup rates and not just your go high level CRMs if you're really scaling. And again, there are different things that go into bottlenecking your business, but the core, the root of a lot of your problems will be in the messaging. So what are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves in order to nail down the messaging? So the first thing I'm going to need to understand is, who am I selling to? And you can go super in depth, which some of these second questions we'll dive into a little bit more. But the key with understanding who is just the base level fundamentals. Who is this person? Is it a man? Is it a woman? How old are they? At what stage of life are they in? Very basic questions to understand who I'm actually speaking to. Business owner, entrepreneur, do they have a 9 to 5? Are they a plumber, right? Who is it? The next question I'm going to need to ask myself is, where are they at in life? And this is where it gets really, really fun. So let's take, for example, a business owner. Are they struggling with marketing? Are they struggling with sales? What about marketing are they struggling with? Where are they at in their business journey? Are they doing a couple mil a month? Is this a new venture? Are they just deploying capital systematically into like the S&P and they're not super concerned with high ROI activities? Are they not concerned with scaling? Are they stagnant? Do they like the local business feel? Do they like the one person thing? You really want to run through where this person is at, not only in terms of their goals, their future, and what they're looking for, but also where are they at in their personal life, right? A great example of this is, let's say you're an entrepreneur dad. Typically, you'll be in 3 different situations. Either you give all your time to your business and your kid, you give all the time to your business and your wife, or you give all the time to your wife and your kid and none to your business. You are able to then speak to that individual's situation. Are you working 80 hours a week and you're trying to make that time for your kid, but what's happening is you don't have the time there. You don't have the time to spend with your wife, right? You don't have the time to put into that relationship. You've lost the spark. Notice that type of messaging is going to speak to a very specific individual. Let's take what I record these videos for. Do you sell a high ticket info product, typically over $5,000, and you've been trying to crack paid ads, but you're struggling? You've burned $5,000 here, you've burned $5,000 there, you've hired agencies that just don't work for you. You run the ads, your show rates tank, your salespeople bitch and moan, you can't get high close rates, and the people that you do end up closing are 9 times out of 10 shitty clients. Is this something that you know that if you cracked, everything would change inside of your business, yet you sit here banging your head against the wall, scared to spend that next $5,000 because you don't know if that's going to be another $5,000 just lit in flames? Here's how we can help, right? And so again, I'm painting this picture around who I'm here to help. Another example for my own business. Are you currently running a business based entirely off organic traffic, and you're worried that if the algorithm decides to tank, or if you get shadow banned, that your business turns off overnight? Have you been looking for that next marketing channel to create some consistency in your business so that you don't wake up in a cold sweat at night? You don't work all the time just to stay afloat, and you aren't trying to milk every last drop of your audience before you potentially get shadow banned or before you lose that virality. Are you looking to build a machine, right? Again, not perfect, but addresses and speaks to a situation. It speaks to where this person is at, right? So now I know. And now I'm speaking to where they're at. The last component here is the needs. And so needs is essentially, what does this person need to have in order for them to be a paying customer? For example, a great one I love to talk about is, let's say you're speaking to high net worth individuals and you're pitching them their next real estate investment, right? Maybe it's a unique property type. Are you an investor with over 100K liquid capital that you're looking to deploy into your next asset and you don't know where you want to put it? You're looking at Section 8, you're looking at mobile home parks, you're looking at hotels, you're looking at commercial office spaces, you're entertaining all of these ideas and you have the capital, but you don't know where. What I've done in that first sentence is I've said, and you have 100K liquid capital to deploy. That is one version of a needs-based question. What do they need to be a buying customer of us? You can also flip this. What do they need from us to be a buying customer of us? Because again, just because someone has money does not mean they're going to buy from us. Do they need one-on-one support? Do they need consulting help? Do they need direct done for you? Do they need to see a level of sophistication, a level of proof? Do they need to see a certain amount of testimonials, right? All of these questions, again, are a two-way street, because again, I can go, okay, who is it? It's a dad. Where are they? Not only where are they at in their life, but where are they spending time? Okay, a lot of them scroll Facebook. So let's run a Facebook ad. And what do they need to see from us to then have confidence to take that action, right? So you flip this. It's, what does your buyer need? Or what is the messaging around your buyer for them to be a buyer? What do you need them to look like? And also, what does your business need to look like in order to attract that buyer, right? And so that's messaging, is I want you to ask who, where, and what are the needs, right? You use this in your funnels. You use this in your VSLs. You use this in all different types of copy. So how does this then apply to bottlenecks, right? Because again, I said messaging and bottlenecks go hand in hand. So with bottlenecks, it's a very similar concept to this needs question, except it's slightly changed. When you are de-bottlenecking your business, you need to understand what your prospects actually care about. Not necessarily what they need to see from you, but what do they care about? One of the most interesting things that we've seen that drives show rates is not necessarily the email flows or the content ad strategies or the texts or the ads, oftentimes it comes down to the core topics that you hit on within those flows. So I can be a horrible copywriter, but if I speak about something that that individual actually cares about, the likelihood of them showing up to a call increases drastically. If I say something in my hook of an ad that your prospects genuinely care about, well, then the likelihood of them clicking through is much higher. And this carries throughout every single component of the funnel, right? If you're struggling to close, it means you can't attach your sales process and that conversation to something that the prospect genuinely cares about. It's a very simple concept, yet if you think through every bottleneck with this lens, I guarantee you'll see a massive jump in performance within the business to where then all you got to do is start focusing on the technical stuff that we spoke about earlier. But again, the key to debottlenecking any business is focus on what the individual cares about, not what they need to see, but what do they care about? What are the big driving factors that will cause them to want to book a call with you? Cause them to want to become a paying customer. Cause them to want to show up to the call, right? For example, with our webinars that we'll run for a lot of our clients, it's one of our most successful funnels. On the pre-webinar page, we have a video that breaks down urgency. Why now is the most important time? Not just your typical, make sure you add it to your calendar, make sure you're paying attention, make sure you show up prepared, like, yeah, cool. But it's more of, if I were to record a pre-webinar video or a pre-call video that was like, let's say you booked a call to learn about investing in Bitcoin back in 2016. What if I told you that right now, if you got started investing in Bitcoin, you would 100x your money in the next 10 years? Sounds crazy, right? Well, I've actually time traveled from the future back to today to walk you through exactly what happens over the next 10 years. And if you put $500 into Bitcoin now, you will be 100 millionaire by the year 2027. Right? Whatever it is. Again, exaggerated example, but it explains the point. The key with bottlenecks and with messaging is just asking these questions. I guarantee you, if you ask yourself, who am I speaking to? Where are they at? What do they need from us? What do we need from them? Right? Where are we going to find them? And then we ask, what does this individual actually care about? You will close a lot more business. You will be able to debottleneck your business and you'll open up the floodgates. You'll close more deals. You'll have a lot more success. You won't look like this business, you'll look like this business. And overall, selling high ticket info will no longer feel like this, and it'll start feeling like this. So if you're curious to learn a little bit more about what we do for high ticket info businesses on the paid ads, marketing, and sales side, as well as just curious as to how to run through this exercise for your own business, what you can do is in the description, there's gonna be a link to book a call. You can book a call with myself, member of my team. We'll run you through this exercise so that you have a good understanding as to where your prospects are currently at so that you can tailor your marketing material to better speak to this individual and again, close more deals, fix the bottlenecks in the business, and scale past that 100 grand a month like you wanted to. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. This channel is all about helping people scale past 100 grand a month with their info product. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.